Governor Greg Abbott issued a third executive order this week aiming to protect Texas and Chinese Americans from potential meddling by the Chinese government. The order issued this morning directs the Public Utility Commission and Texas Division of Emergency Management to ramp up security of critical infrastructure, directing those agencies to identify vulnerabilities in state and local government, simulate responses to cyber attacks, and play out what would happen if the Texas electrical grid needed to restart due to a foreign attack. Experts say Texas could be a target because of the large number of industries and research hubs here. Just yesterday, the governor issued an order directing state agencies and public institutions to increase security against China and the Chinese Communist Party's, quote, malicious espionage operations. And on Monday, he ordered DPS troopers to arrest people involved in harassing and coercing Chinese Texans in response to reports of the People's Republic of China creating police service stations all over the world to try to intimidate Chinese descendants and force them to return to China. FBI agents believe there are at least 6 of those stations in the U.S., including one in Houston. So joining me now live is Democratic State Representative Jean Wu, who represents parts of Houston. Representative, thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Representative Wu, you know, some of our viewers may not be aware of this, but you were born in China and your family immigrated here. Tell us a little bit about your story.
Sure. I'm a first-generation American. I was born in China, came over when I was like 4.5 years old, and I grew up in Houston, and I ran for office in 2013 or in 2012, and I've been elected ever since. You know, I'm a very proud Chinese American, and what we've had to do in the past few years is really defend the community against this onslaught of legislation around the nation that seeks to take away the rights of Chinese Americans and other Asians.
So tell me what's your initial reaction to the 3 orders from the governor so far this week?
Yeah, I mean, first, I thought, well, good. You know, the issue of the Chinese having their little substations here in America, this is not new. I mean, we've known about these things since like 2014, and we've been reacting to it since then. It's a little confusing because the FBI sent out those same warnings twice before this year and did not get this kind of response. I have a sneaking suspicion that this particular response may have to do more with the beginning of the Texas legislature and of early bill filing than it has to do with the actual danger, because we've known about this danger for a long time.
Wow. You've known about it for a long time. You're obviously in Houston, where the FBI says one of those stations is. Have you seen or heard of any suspicious activity happening in your district or parts of the city related to this?
I have not personally, but this is something we're aware of, and we keep track on it because, you know, for us, we're a community of dissidents. We're a community of people here. Some people voluntarily came from China, but a lot of us, like my family, we fled China. A lot of people who are here, who are Chinese Americans, fled that country and really are scared of what they might do to them if they get forced back. So we're very concerned if the CCP or the Chinese government is operating here and are intimidating our people, intimidating our residents. We're very concerned about that. And I mean, you know, even as a bipartisan issue, I mean, I'm glad that Greg Abbott finally is starting to pay attention to this stuff. But the problem is the way he's going about it, I don't think does anything.
I want to talk about the threat that is there, that people may not understand. People may not be as familiar as why it is so frightening, why it is so threatening. Talk to us a little bit about the threat that the People's Republic of China poses.
Yeah, so look, I think some of the issues dealing with like intellectual property, cyber attacks, all those things, those are definitely legitimate. But there's other things that people talk about, like people buying farmland to spy. Some of those are just kind of incredulous, like what? You know, people talking about like, you know, China is going to get into our food supply. And there's a lot of other stuff that is kind of crazy. The problem is when we focus on the things that are just kind of out there and are just kind of insane, we kind of lose the trail. And we don't focus on the things that we actually need to focus on. Because in your piece, you talked about the power grid. We don't need China to interfere with our power grid for it to go down. I mean, a strong gust of wind, a stern look will crash our power grid. That has nothing to do with China. That has everything to do with Governor Abbott, the Texas legislature, and our unwillingness to actually fix the system. But at the same time, there's been many things, such as talking about our computer infrastructure, that we're still operating on computer systems that had their operating systems written in the last millennium. But we're still using it like it's nothing. There's lots and lots of things we can do, but doing more paperwork is really not one of the top priorities.
So you alluded to some of the legislation that was filed in the last session that you were very adamant, very vocal about, saying that it harmed the Chinese community. And we're anticipating, obviously, bill filings have already started. You know, you think we're going to start to see that legislation again, talking about not allowing people to purchase land or have businesses or homes here in Texas?
And you're exactly right. Those bills have already been filed, and more of them have been filed this time. I think there's going to be a greater push to pass them. And let me tell you what these bills do. They just say blanketly, without accusation, without evidence, that it just labels an entire community as being threats. And saying that these communities, because of where they're from, we will just blanketly say that we should just go ahead and ban all of them from being able to even buy a home. Right, to start a business, to even farm. And the problem with this, one of the big problems, is that we've passed these laws before. We passed these laws 100 years ago. We passed these laws right before the Japanese internment. Because it's laws like this that create the atmosphere to say this particular group of people, even the ones who are citizens, they're kind of a threat. They're kind of a danger. So we need to deal with them differently, right? And what the community has been saying is, hey, if you're concerned about the Chinese dissidents that are being attacked by China, that's us. The people you're trying to pass laws against, the people who are trying to buy homes, trying to buy businesses, that's us. So our statement to Governor Abbott is, if you want to protect Chinese dissidents, then first of all, stop your own party from filing these bills that would take their rights away and make them less safe in this country.
Is there a fine line? Is there legislation you plan to file or an amendment you think you would want to offer that would, you know, stop what we're seeing in these stations, but also protect the community?
Well, so number one, what's happening in these stations is already against the law. Foreign agents can't operate in the United States freely, and they certainly cannot break the law and intimidate our people, arrest them, kidnap them, beat them up. All those things are already illegal. We don't need to pass new laws to do that. And the law to pass, the law that's needed to protect the Chinese American community, to protect dissidents, and protect all immigrants, is already on the books. It's called the Constitution of the United States. And what the Constitution says is that we cannot treat people differently based on their race, based on their religion, or where they're from. And in fact, this prohibition is in the Texas state constitution as well. But yet we constantly ignore it and do plenty of stuff that goes against it pretty much. And so we just want to remind people, including Governor Abbott, that if you're serious about protecting the Chinese American community, if you're serious about protecting Chinese immigrants and dissidents who oppose that government, then don't pass laws against them in the same breath.
Okay. State Representative Gene Wu of Houston, we thank you for taking some time to talk with us.
Thank you so much.